Alright guys, I'm going to show you guys how to change out a wheel bearing. First, I think most people are going to be trying to figure out what is wrong with it. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to hear that scraping noise. You might hear some popping, all that stuff. You might think it's the brakes at first, but that scraping noise isn't going to be there when you apply brakes, all that stuff. So then you're going to jack up your tire, kick that rim and tire off. You're gonna get up in there and you're not gonna see anything visually. So this sometimes it's kind of hard to see, and even with the tire off, you can't really shake that stuff that well. So if you guys are thinking it's a wheel bearing, this is an easy step to see if it's a wheel bearing. Go ahead and do it to both sides, but you're gonna shake it like this. If it moves like that, that means it's a wheel bearing. If you can't get much, if it's like maybe like this, well, that's a good wheel bearing, but this is a bad wheel bearing. So that's one of the easy way that you're going to figure out that it's a wheel bearing that needs changed. So, thought I'd help you guys out there. And now I'm going to go ahead and put most of this stuff in fast forward. I'll probably stop every once in a while, let you guys see what I'm doing. All right, this is what we're getting ready to change out today. And I wanted to mention, I got this on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description, but I wanted to let you guys know, do a price check. I got this thing for $56 on Amazon with the ABS cord, and the cheapest I could find it on O'Reilly's.com was $160. So right there was $100 in savings. And Amazon is doing a pretty good job on showing that if it fits your vehicles. Another thing you should also do is check the part number. So this part number was the same part number that I found on O'Reilly's, so that helps you know that this is going to probably work for your vehicle before you order. So do some checking and price checking, and if you guys are into saving some money, Amazon has been really great. We just changed some ignition coils on my sister's car, and the parts store had one for $90 some, and you could buy the whole set of 6 for like $600, $700, and we were able to find 6 of them on Amazon for $90. So we got 6 for the price of 1. So that's huge savings. So I just wanted to mention this. Definitely check out Amazon when you guys are ordering parts. If you guys are into saving some money like I am. And I'll try to list some other stuff. Since this is a Dodge Ram 1500, I'm going to be listing parts for it. But when I show you how to take this, change this out, many cars are the same. We also changed the wheel bearing on my sister's Cadillac. I think it's a SRX. And it was almost the same way. So all right, before I start doing this, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through what I'm going to be doing. First, going to loosen this up. That's so this axle can come out. You're going to have to come up in here later and push it this way to get it to release there, to pull it on out of there. Then next thing I'm going to be doing is taking off these brakes. Brakes are just this bolt here. I'm going to be loosening up and taking out, and same with this one, and that will get this brake part to come out. And then I'm going to take this main brake part off. That's these 2 bolts right here, one here and one on the bottom right here. And then that'll get all the brake off. Then I'll take this rotor off, and then it will be time to make sure the axle's out of there. And the reason why I'm taking the axles out, because there's 3 bolts, one here, and one on the other side that needs to come out. That's going to let go of that hub, or wheel bearing hub, yeah. So that is what I'm going to be doing. Also, if you're having any problems with any of these bolts in here coming out, I was taking off my sister's last time and I couldn't get them to come out, and I actually broke a couple ratchets. So I ended up having to heat it up with a little torch and get those to come loose. So I thought I'd mention that because a lot of you guys may run into that problem and may not have the tools to really pry those things off. Just get a little torch on it and heat those things up. Then I also will have this ABS cable right here. I'm going to follow it up and wherever it goes and unhook it. Looks like it's right here is where that main comes apart. So I'm going to unhook that, and also put that in there. All right, guys, We're gonna go ahead and loosen this up. I already have it jacked up, so this is gonna spin. So I'm gonna have my sister get in there and see if she can put the brakes on. This is a 35 millimeter deep weld socket because I have a short one that didn't fit, so we had to go get another one. We got a breaker bar. There it goes. So again, instead of jacking this, putting the tire back on and jacking it back down, you can take the centerpiece out of your tire and get it. I did it with just her putting the brakes on, but if you guys don't want to do it that way, you can also take out the centerpiece to get that loosened up by putting the pressure back down on the tire. And I'm not going to fill it that. I'm just had my sister get in there and apply the brakes, and that worked fine. Right now I'm going to take off the brakes. If you guys already know how to do the brakes, go ahead and skip forward. I'm going to go ahead and show this in this video just because it's part of changing it, and there might be people that don't know how to change or take even this part off that are trying to do this on their own. I'm using a 1/2 inch wrench right now. And I'm taking these bolts off right here. Using a 13/16. Alright guys, I just switched over to millimeters so I can use my breaker bar. It's a 21 millimeter. We'll get down in here and lay right underneath this. It just came right undone. Same with that one. Go ahead and get a couple turns on it, and then I'll jump back over to the ratchet. Okay. It's all clean. Now I'm taking off the rotor. Right here, that looks like there's a clip on this. Right, this little thing holding that rotor in there in place. Alright, now we're down to this point. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a hammer and try to break that loose. Oh yeah, I have a feeling these ones are going to be rough getting up here. I'll pop you guys over here and show you these bolts right here. I'm going to be pulling them out the other way, but you can see how rusted they are in there. So, as I mentioned before, I had to get those hot to get them out last time. Hopefully this breaker bar I have now will get those out. Now you can really see how loose that is in here. Guys, now you guys need to get a hammer. I already actually smacked it on there. I forgot to record for you guys, but I'm not using mine to break loose. And I was going to use a pulley to put that in there and push it. Mine's way too small, so I'm going to go ahead and put this bolt back on here and beat it with the hammer. And I'm putting this bolt on just so I don't ruin the threads. Okay, I'm having a lot of problems trying to get that to loosen up there to get that axle loose, and even here, this is like seized on there. I smashed that. You can see that bevel starting to get flat. So I'm going to go ahead and spray WD-40 in here and on all these bolts, and then I'm going to actually try to get these bolts out without moving this axle. That's going to be a bitch, but I can't get that axle out. That's how I'm gonna have to try to do it. So I'm gonna attempt it, but having lots of problems. Sat here and beat on that. I got up in here and even tried to slide that forward. It's not sliding anywhere. So I know everybody says that it looks so easy when you put it on YouTube. I'm just telling you that most people just aren't showing that part. I'm gonna go ahead and unhook this ABS clip. I always have a tough time getting these, but this one, pop that up like that. If you're having troubles, take your screwdriver up here, get that loose, and it should pop up. I think it just pulls out, but I always have the worst of time getting these things to let go. Okay, when I got that done, I just pried in there on that. Finally got it to release. But yeah, worse at getting these things off. Alright, sorry guys, I did not video this part either. Since I was having problems getting this loose. This has some play in it. I just started taking this and just beating it right here with the hammer, because this is all going to be getting replaced. Smack this hard, and I took it, I flipped it all the way to the opposite side, started smacking this really hard, and I finally got this to come loose. So now it's not showing it's loose, but it's loose now. Here, put you down right here. I know some of you guys are going to be running into the same trouble as I am, but you can even see that this is now down flush there, so I've gotten that pretty loose. You can see it's coming through there now. It's just rusted. So if you guys are having the same problems, try beating on this. That's all going to be replaced. Just try not to damage your actual threads right here. Damn it. Looks like I damaged these and it's been leaking. So it looks like I'm replacing that as well. Found it on Amazon for 61 bucks. Alright, so I'm also not having any luck with pushing this forward. So I'm going to go to plan B. And I'm going to loosen this up, take that off so it'll slide forward, and also do it with this tie rod in. And then I may even have to take this shock off, depends on how much it lets down, and that should let me pull this CVC axle out of there. And then I can get that, this whole piece will come off, and then I can get those 3 bolts out of there. This is why people cuss. Cuss up a storm. I even hurt my finger. Everybody fast forward through this, but sometimes you got problems. Sometimes everything comes right off, but when you're working on cars that are already 10, 15, 20 years old, things are seized up, and most people that are doing this for YouTube, they're making these videos a year or 2 after the car is new, you know, within 5 years, so everything comes off. But you can see that all my stuff is all rusted and seized up. So sometimes you gotta beat on things and put some muscle into it. So I'm gonna start taking this stuff off now. Okay, that 21 millimeter bit on here right there. I'm having this bolt spin that whole thing, so I'm gonna have to get something on here, hold it while I spin that off right now. I think I can get 2 of them now and leaving this on. If you can't, you're gonna have to take that bottom bolt out as well. I think I'm gonna be able to get to those with them where they're at. So. Alright, this motherfucker is just seized up in that bitch. Now this is just not coming off. And I'm also dealing with that axle there. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that bottom bolt off of there as well. Bitch is seized on there. Alright, since this is just seized up on there, I'm just running around trying to find a different way to hit that. So I found I'm going to just put one of these down in there. I'm using a 30 millimeter. Fits right down in that hole, kind of, where I can set here and maybe hit it with some pounding. See if I can knock that loose. It is seized. Alright guys, this is just seized up in there. I'm going to try to heat it up. If I can't get it out that way, I'm probably just going to have to replace this whole thing. Alright, my parts finally came in. Went ahead and got some dust covers, and I'm also going to be changing brakes. And I think also within the next couple months I'm going to be changing the other side wheel bearing as well. Darn guys, I put the dust cover on wrong, so when I realize it later, I have to take it all back apart, switch it around, and then put it back together. But I wanted to mention, even though I messed up and damaged that brake caliper and also couldn't get that wheel hub out of that steering knuckle, and so I had to replace some of these other parts, I still saved a lot of money doing this myself. I didn't get this job quoted, but my sister had got hit for her car before I did hers, and just to replace that wheel bearing hub, they were going to charge her $1,400. I think they were going to charge her $200 just for the wheel bearing. And we ended up replacing it and only spending, I think, $60-some for two. And then again, we didn't have the $1,200 in labor. So me doing this job seriously saves some money. Alright, these things are a bitch. Gotta have pressure up this way. I was trying it the other way to put pressure on this, but it's actually push the pressure onto this part. So I'm gonna do this one next. I'm just gonna push this one down, put pressure on that, so this bolt will tighten up. These things are not that easy. So I'm gonna push pressure down, I'll get this on here and turn it. You can see how it's spinning now. If I put some more pressure on it, it's not spinning. Might have to get some more pressure on it or use my impact again. Probably gonna use the impact. We gotta use some pressure on that. So now I'm up on this top one, and I really don't know how I'm gonna get pressure on that. I think I'm gonna push it down and hold it and then try to turn it. But I'm gonna put you guys back up here. Okay, I was just going to jack that up, but my parents have my other jack. So I'm going to go ahead and let this down onto that jack stand, and then use this jack. Alright guys, I put this in backwards, so I'm not going to show all that, but I'm going to go ahead and take it all back off, flip this around, and put it back to this point. This is the reason why everybody does all the cussing when they're working on cars. Alright, now we're close to back where we left off. I got this flipped around, got this all cleaned up. I didn't take the bottom one off. I was able to pull forward and squeeze through there, get that stuff to come off. Here I'm just putting the brakes back on in the reverse order as I took them off. Just gotta tighten this down and bleed them. I lost a lot of brake fluid, and obviously those needs bled. Alright, for me, getting this brake back on, I already got it compressed. I have my wife in there holding the brake. Now I'm getting this to turn pretty easy. Now that the brakes are in there functioning. So these are now going on there pretty good. There we have it.